Hey everybody, and welcome to Toxic or Trendy, the podcast where we unpack the drama, decode the red flags, and ask the big question: is it just a messy moment or something way more serious? We are your hosts, me, Maria Jose, Kelly, Ernie, and Jorlin. And today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's often hidden behind filters and fame: emotional abuse in relationships. Because let's be real, it's easy to romanticize celebrity couples because they're rich, stylish, and always trending. But sometimes, if you look a little closer, things can feel, a little bit off. So, in this episode, we are putting the spotlight on one of the most talked about celebrity couples, Justin and Hailey Bieber. Their relationship has sparked endless conversations online, with fans debating whether the way they interact is wrong, strained, or something is, in between, something weird. We are not here to console anybody. We are here to use these viral moments to spark real conversations because emotional abuse isn't always obvious. It's not just about shouting or slamming doors. Sometimes it's seeing the subtle tics, the cold silence, and the constant control disguised as, caring. So here's the kicker: it doesn't just happen to celebrities, it happens in everyday relationships too, maybe even closer than you think. So now, grab your favorite drink, it can be coffee, and get ready because today we are separating the toxic from the trendy and shining a light on what emotional abuse really looks like. So now, Julian, what is your opinion on this matter?
Hi everyone. First, let's start by defining what is emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is when someone tries to control, manipulate, or hurt another person using words or even actions, but without physical violence. It includes things like constant criticism, yelling, ignoring someone's feeling, or making them feel guilty, or even isolating them from friends or family. And sometimes emotional abuse is very subtle. For example, your partner may say things like, "You are too sensitive," when you express your feelings. That is gaslighting. Or they may blame you for their own mistakes, making you feel like everything is your fault. Over time, this kind of abuse can destroy a person's self esteem and mental health. And according to many studies, emotional abuse happens in many relationships, not just romantic ones, and it's more common that most people think. That's why it's so important to talk about it.
Now that we have defined a little bit of what emotional abuse is, I would like to talk about Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber, like it was mentioned at the beginning. I mean, I'm not saying that the relationship is abusive. I don't know them personally. I haven't got the chance to do so, but I don't want to talk, but I want to talk and I want to emphasize some moments that, made people online, raise their eyebrows and think, there's something weird going around that can reflect some, emotionally unhealthy relationship. For instance, one video from 2021, I remember, shows Justin, getting out of a car in Las Vegas, and he's, yelling and waving his hands, and then some people thought he was yelling at Haley, right? But others said he was just excited after performing. So, what do we make after that, Kelly?
Well, I think it's hard to know without context, but the fact that so many people were concerned shows how sensitive we are to tone and body language. In a healthy relationship, partners feel emotionally safe. If someone is always scared that their partner might explode or embarrass them in public, that could be emotional abuse.
Also, there's a clip where Justin shuts a car door in Haley's face, if I'm not mistaken. Some people thought it was rude and dismissive, while others said it was just a moment caught on camera, just an accident. Again, I'm not accusing of anything, but imagine if your partner was always ignored like that, was always, you know, somehow experienced violence like that. I guess at some point or another, they could feel embarrassed in public, and that could really hurt them emotionally over time.
And you know what's interesting? That online Haley often posts things trying to show their love is strong. Some people think that she's always trying to prove their relationship is okay. And that kind of behavior might be a sign someone is dealing with a lot behind the scenes, maybe stress, insecurity, or even emotional pressure. So the point is, we see certain patterns, public embarrassment, a lack of support, dismissive behavior, and we should be able to talk about that. Not to gossip, but to learn.
So I really appreciate all your comments. And now let's talk about why people see in emotional abuse relationships. What do you think, guys?
Well, I think that sometimes the abuser makes the victim feel like no one else will love them, or they make it seem like the problems are the victim's fault. That makes it hard to live.
Also, building on what Geraldine has just mentioned, emotional abuse doesn't always start right away. You know, at first everything might seem perfect, and that's what we call love bombing. Which is when someone gives you too much attention, gives compliments, just to simply win you over and to idealize you, right, as this perfect being. But later, they sort of start to control you.
In my opinion, I think that there's always red flags that we have to look at. For example, if your partner gets angry when you talk to friends, they blame you for everything, they make fun of you in public, or they always try to control what you do, wear, or say.
Yeah, exactly. So this is certainly a very important topic, sorry, and we should, address it with more seriousness. So if any of this sounds familiar to you or anyone you know, it may be time to reach out for help. Emotional abuse is real, and it can hurt just as much as physical violence.
So, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope it helped you understand emotional abuse a little better and how to spot it, even in relationships that look perfect from the outside. If you or someone you know is in an emotional abusive relationship, please know you are not alone. There is help. You can contact the Hotline US or even Dinamo Costa Rica. So we will see you next time. And remember, real love doesn't hurt your feelings, control your life, or make you feel small.
Thank you very much. Bye. See you next time.